Hi everyone, thank you for joining us for today's Webinar Wednesday, brought to you by UK University Search. Today we're going to be talking about student life and starting university in 2020 or 2021. If you're headed to uni this September or thinking about going next year, you'll probably have a lot of questions about what your student experience is going to look like, from moving to university to Freshers Week and your social life to studying and your classes. That's why we brought together 4 fantastic universities for you today, who will be talking to you about starting university and helping to ease some of your worries about going to university at the current time. We'll also be answering lots of your questions at the end of the webinar too. We have 4 panellists from universities across the UK joining us today, and we'll be discussing different topics. First up, we have Joseph Holroyd from Teesside University, who will be talking to you about moving to university, what to pack, what not to pack, and general tips about making that big move. Then we'll be talking to Clearnos Williams from Bangor University about the social life at university, looking at societies, sports, clubs, and all kinds of things which will make your uni experience really great. Then we'll be talking to Tabitha Lee from the University of Law about what your first week at university will be like, covering Freshers Week and getting started with your new classes. And finally, we'll be talking to Bianca Franco from the University of East London about studying at university, what your classes, lectures and seminars are going to look like, whether you're heading to university this year or next year. We'll be finishing up today with a question and answer session. So if you're watching on Zoom and you'd like to submit a question for any of our panelists, then please click on Q&A at the bottom of your screen and you can type your question there. Our panellists will be replying to these on the chat throughout the webinar, as well as answering some live at the end of the session too. So make sure you keep submitting questions throughout the session and we'll make sure we get the answers for you. You can also post questions in the live chat on YouTube. So you just go to the chat down the side, type in your question and one of our representatives will pass it along to us. Please be aware that that chat is monitored at all times, so please make sure you're only posting appropriate content. Anything inappropriate will be removed and reported to your school or college. Okay, so let's get started. I'm now going to pass you over to Joseph from Teesside University, who'll be talking to you about moving to university.
Hello. Hi. My name's Joseph Holroyd. I'm a Masters of Visual Effects at Teesside University, and I'll be talking about making the big move, moving to and staying at university, your first couple of days and maybe in the first week of university. There we go. Making the big move. The big move starts at home. There's a couple of things you're going to need to consider before you start moving. But it's important also to pack lightly because, of course, you're moving to a big city and pretty much everything you're going to need, you're going to be able to find around the town. So what are the most important things you're probably going to need? Probably the most important is all the paperwork. You've got to make sure you've packed your acceptance letter, all the money stuff from the people who are giving you the money. If you're accepting a maintenance loan or grant or a combination of the two, it's important to take all of the paperwork with you, and your housing contract, of course, as well. You're going to need to know where you're going to live and the address of wherever you're staying. It's also fairly important to take some ID with you to prove that who you are and that you need to be there. If you've got a reading list, either recommended or essential reading list, it's important that you take all the books with you. So make sure you leave room in your suitcases for some heavy books. They're heavier than you think they are. Pack your phone, but I probably didn't need to tell you that much. And your laptop. A laptop or your desktop computer will be very important, especially if you're planning to do a computing degree, animation, games, or visual effects, or anything of the kind. Make sure you pack your cables. Hopefully you'll pack them a little bit better than this ball over here. Having an Ethernet will probably help you a lot, an Ethernet cable, if you're doing a computing degree or anything of the kind, just for faster Wi-Fi and reliable internet access. Now, a lot of universities often offer a bedding and kitchen essential kit. Pillows, blankets, pots, pans, plates, knives and forks. But it's not always the best idea to completely rely on that. There may be a delay in you receiving these items. So it wouldn't be the worst idea to pack some of the essentials from your home, especially if you find yourself arriving late at night and all the shops are closed. It's a good idea to take just the kinds of things you'll need for an evening meal or maybe some lunch. I wouldn't worry too much about packing these kinds of things. When I moved into my undergraduate home at university, I think we wound up with 3 kettles, 4 toasters, and 6 cheese graters. Nobody needs 6 cheese graters. Nobody needs 6 toasters. So I honestly wouldn't worry too much about toasters and things like that until you get to university, and then decide as a household how many of each item you'd like and who should bring some. Also, toilet paper. You don't necessarily need to bring toilet paper in your packed suitcase with you because there are a lot of shops around to buy that kind of thing, and it takes up a lot of unnecessary space. And it's a big pack of things, you know, it all adds up. It'll be heavier than you think it is. So pack as lightly as you can and make the moving easier and as seamless as you can. So you've arrived at university, you finally made it with all of your paperwork, laptops and computers and 6 toasters. And you've arrived in a new city and there's a lot of new people. So one of the first things that I'd recommend you do when you arrive, if you haven't done it before you move in, is take a look around the city and find out where all of the essential shops are and how easy it is to access them from your flat. Knowing where the local supermarket is, knowing where the closest places are for you to buy kitchen utensils and bedroom decorations is a really good idea. Also, where all the best cafes are. When you move to university, there's going to be a lot of new people too. And so you're going to be doing a lot of socializing in the first couple of days, meeting new people and making new friends. And so finding the best places to grab a coffee or, you know, watch a film or something would be really, really great. And it'll help you break the ice a lot easier if you can invite people out for a meal. So yeah, if you're first, then find out where all the good stuff is in town and where you can buy the things that you might need. But if you're one of the last people, you want to hit the ground running during the first week's inductions onto the course. And another great way to meet people, of course, is on your course. And don't be shy about getting to know your housemates. You're going to be spending a year or more with them. When I moved into my house at undergraduate, I had a good friend called Josh, and his idea of meeting all the new people was just going knocking on their doors whilst they were in their rooms and saying hello. And it's very blunt, it's very straightforward. And maybe don't do it as soon as they arrive, but helping to offer unpack out of their car to help shift things around, help them unpack in the kitchen, knock on their door and say hello. Not the worst idea. They don't know anybody either. So making friends with your housemates in the early days is going to help you a lot down the line. Another great way to meet people, I'll touch on it very, very briefly, is the Freshers' Fair during the first week's worth of inductions. So get to know the university as best as you can. Get to know what they can offer you outside of your course and outside of campus around town as well. It's a great way to meet people, a great way to get settled in and to understand the environment you're going into. You get to take a look at the clubs and societies, and it's like a big welcoming fair. And remember, when you're moving in, your house is a home. It's not an apartment or a flat or a place you're temporarily staying at until you see your parents again. You need to make it a home, make yourself comfortable there. Make it an inviting place for you to invite friends back to as well. So yeah, you're moving into a home. Don't forget to bring nice big pillows, posters of your favorite games, movies, films, and actors, things like that. Think to yourself, what do I have in my bedroom? And make your home reflect that. One of the worst feelings when you move into university is feeling homesick. And making your home a comfortable place for you to live is the best way to tackle feeling homesick, but also staying in contact with all the people at home. Ring your parents, ring your brothers and sisters, friends, you know, set up video calls. It's especially important now during quarantine to be able to talk to people consistently and not feel alone. So yeah, when you're moving in, make your house feel more like a home with all of the creature comforts that includes. Now, I think that's it for me. Thank you very much for listening. Hopefully this was helpful for everybody. Yeah, thanks a lot. Back to you, Megan.
Thank you very much, Joseph. If you just want to end your sketch, there we go, that's perfect. Next up, we are going to be talking to Clinnos Williams from Bangor University. She's going to be talking to you about social life at university. So we're going to be looking at different societies and clubs that you can get involved in, and that's all going to make your uni experience really great. So I'm going to pass over to Clinnos now.
Hi everyone, so my name's Clinnos, I'm from Bangor University, and as you just heard, I'm going to be telling you a bit about student life in terms of societies, clubs and that sort of thing. So I'm hoping to give you a lot of answers in this presentation about what to expect, but obviously if you do have any questions, just add them in the chat and we'll happily answer them during or after the presentation. So before I start talking about that, I just thought I'd tell you a bit about the university itself in case you haven't heard of Bangor. We are based in wonderful North Wales. So we were established quite a while ago, back in 1884. So what happened was the local quarrymen decided the education wasn't good enough. And so before we officially became a university, they donated wages to pay to improve education in the area. But obviously it's people from all across the world that now come and study with us. We've got 10,000 students, so a medium-sized university. We've got the gold standard in the teaching excellence framework, as well as being a world-leading research institution. We've been top 10 in the UK for 3 years in a row now for student satisfaction. And some of the famous people who've already walked down our corridors include Danny Boyle, the director, John Sessions, the QI panellist and entertainer, and the IVF pioneer and Nobel Prize winner, the late Professor Robert Edwards. And then here's just a list of some of the subjects that we have. So if you want to find out more, you can just have a look at our website or get in touch with us at another time. But as I said, I'm here to tell you about student life and what to expect in terms of clubs, societies, sports teams, and things you can do outside of your course. And I am really, really jealous of all of you because given the opportunity, I would go back to university without a second's hesitation. One of the things that I miss most about being a student is the huge amount of stuff you get to do outside of your course. Because never again are you going to get as much stuff on your doorstep as you do at university. And I think that's really what makes it so unique. And it's genuinely one of the things that people really look forward to. So I'm hoping by giving you some information about this today, you can really think about the kind of things you want to get involved in, the things you want to look forward to, and really make the most of that university experience. So one of the main things then that we have in terms of universities are the clubs, societies, and obviously the nightlife. I think if university was just about the course, it wouldn't be as popular as it is and people wouldn't look forward to it half as much. I think this is really part of it that makes the experience. And what you'll notice is universities spend a huge amount of time, money and effort making sure that you are never bored, making sure you've got access to as many different things as you want to. Now it's totally up to you how busy or how quiet your social life is. But there's just so much going on. I can guarantee you're never going to be sitting there thinking, right, what is it that I can do with my time? So there's so many different clubs, societies and volunteering projects that you can get involved in. So at Bangor, we've got over 200 and they're a massive range of things. So you've got things from the DJ Society to the Circus Guild Society to the Comedy Club, the Camera Club, Amateur Dramatics, Student Newspaper, Radio Station, Dog Walking Society, Sewing Society. We even have a Tea Appreciation Society at Bangor. So there's just so many different things covered. So from the things that you might expect to the things that sound a little bit random to the things that you think, well, I don't know, what is that about? But it just covers so many different interests. And the great thing about societies and clubs at university as well is if you've got an interest that you're really passionate about, and if you can find 15 other people who share that interest, you can start up your own club or society as well. So it really gives you endless and loads of possibilities in terms of what you can actually do with these clubs, societies in your spare time as a student. You've also, on top of that, got ones that are linked to the academic courses. And I always recommend, if there's one linked into your subject, join in with it. So you've got things like the Law Society, Zoological Society, Chemistry Society, Psychological Society. So all these societies have the same sort of idea. They've got that shared interest, and that's what everybody has and brings them together at the start of the year. You join up with them, then they organise nights out, weekends away, trips abroad, activities, events, loads of things for you to get involved in. So it's a great way to get to know people. You'll have some fantastic experiences. And also with the academic related ones as well, they not only organise things linked into your subject. So for example, our Law Society will have a careers fair. We'll go and, sit in on cases. We'll go on trips to the European Union, for example. But they'll also have things like socialising and ways to get to know people. So it's not only good for these academic societies to do extra stuff outside of your lectures, it's also a great way to get to know your fellow students outside of maybe the lecture or the seminar environment. So you can join as many of these as you want to. You're probably not going to be able to join all 200 at Bangor, but what we normally do is have something called Serendipity, which is the Freshers' Fair, where you've got all these clubs, societies, volunteering projects, all have a stand. So you can walk around and get an idea about what's available, who you might want to sign up to. A lot of them do taster sessions as well. So before you actually become a member, you can kind of see what it's like. So like I said, it's up to you how many you want to join in with, but the list is absolutely vast. And just specific to Bangor University, we are one of the few universities in the UK who don't actually charge any membership. So like I said, in theory, you could join all 200, but it's probably not going to be all that practical. Also, from Bangor University's point of view, I forgot I'd mentioned this, we also won the Best Club Societies Award for 3 years in a row now with What Uni Student Choice Awards. So it is something that we put a lot of emphasis on. And I think one of the reasons why we put a lot of emphasis on the clubs, societies and volunteering projects at our university is it's a great way not just to pass the time and get to know people, but to really develop certain skills and qualities. So you could be like a treasurer for one of the clubs. You could maybe be an editor for the student newspaper. You might have to organise a large scale event for one of these societies. So as well as passing time and having fun, it's actually going to develop skills and qualities and also give you opportunities that are going to be really useful for your CV going forwards after you've graduated and looking for jobs and opportunities and that sort of thing as well. So throw yourself into the ones you're interested in and see what's available, because there's just, like I said, just so much going on. So the Students' Union are the people who are responsible for organising all these different clubs and societies. So they're again the ones that you go and speak to if you want to set up your own. But even if you don't sign up to clubs, societies or volunteering at uni, the Students' Union still have a huge amount of stuff going on to keep you busy and pass the time. So they also have their own building. So normally there's a nightclub in there, places to eat and drink, and maybe a few shops. So sometimes there's like corner shop, travel agent, banks and other kind of services in there as well. So it does vary from Students' Union to Students' Union. But they will organise a huge amount of stuff for you throughout the year as well. You're also going to find wherever there's a university, there's loads of other facilities. So it could be like a theatre with things going on. So, obviously we have the Amateur Dramatic Society. So our guys are always putting on different productions. There's different kind of concerts and different things happening at the university. So cinema, showing different films, comedians putting on gigs at the university, bands coming to play there as well. So there's just so much stuff going on, and also things like social learning spaces as well, where maybe you can sign up to different courses and different kind of sessions with that as well. So again, developing skills and passing the time. So as you can see, you don't just have to sign up to the kind of official club societies that are there. There's still a huge amount going on. So it just depends how you want to pass your time. But I'm sure you can see it caters for all kinds of different interests when you go to university. There's also loads of events every year. So again, universities will have their own, and we've all got our favourites in terms of what happens on a year-to-year basis. So the summer ball is normally the big end of year event. Everybody gets dressed up. We put fairground rides in the car park. We have bands playing all day long in the main building. So it's a really great day. Everybody looks forward to it. But we also have lots of different weekly events at the university as well. So in terms of our things, we often have beach cleans, we have different kind of walks that we do up into the mountains. We also have different events within our Students' Union itself. Favourite events, or two of my favourite events, the silent disco is always good value. So for those of you who haven't been, you wear headphones, 2 different DJs to listen to. The best thing is sitting back and watching people in silence, taking your headphones off, dancing to different music. That's great. Second thing that I really love is we have something called the Canine Calming Room. We do this around about the time of exams for the students. And the idea is the guide dogs come into the Students' Union. So the owners and the guide dogs come in, students will donate money towards the association. They will then talk to the owners, pet the dogs, relieve the stress. The owners have a chat with people, the dogs are really happy. And if you're anything like me, a room full of Labradors is my idea of heaven. So you'll all have your own little events that you really love that the universities run. Also, there's loads of trips. So some of the ones that we have are trips over to Dublin fairly often, trips to watch the Six Nations rugby matches, so many different things, like I said. So it's not just about what the university runs in terms of the official clubs and societies. And then generally around campus and around university as well, what you'll find is that entertainment and nightlife is very much geared towards the students. So there's so much going on. But I think there's a lot of emphasis nowadays, quite rightly as well, is that it's not just about going out to maybe the pubs or clubs. There's so many other things going on around university as well. So always geared towards the students, and it depends where you go as to what's available, but there's always a huge amount of stuff. So like I said, I know I keep repeating it, but that's really the main message to take away from this. And in terms of your life on actual campus as well, again, there's lots of different weekly events that happen in the university around your halls of residence. And I always recommend getting involved in some of these because it's a great way, again, to get to know people, making new friends, maybe trying new activities, or, just trying things that you've never even maybe had a go at before. I think what's great about a lot of the stuff at universities, it doesn't matter whether you've done this stuff before or not. You're welcome to try in and give it a go and see what you like. So some of the kind of campus life activities, again, we have in Bangor, we have barbecues, film nights, we have cooking lessons. If you're bad at cooking, head straight over to them when you get to Bangor. We also, like I said, do the mountain walks, rock climbing, we have open mic nights, we have a free Sunday roast once a month. So if you're bad at cooking, again, head over to them. Also, you can try your hand at like a really hotly contested bake-off. So there's just loads of things going on to really help you get settled into university life and try all this new stuff. But also what I want to talk about, just to finish off this session, is the sports side of things as well. So not only does it give you the chance to try different clubs, societies, interests and volunteering, university is a great way to get into sport. And at Bangor, we certainly are of the opinion that it doesn't matter whether you've played the sport before or not. It doesn't matter whether you're good or whether you're bad. Try out whatever you want. If you're serious and good at the sport, you might represent the university in the first team. If you just want to go to try something new, to keep fit, to get to know people, again, all of this is absolutely fine. And if you're really good at sport, you may want to look at sports scholarships as well. So we normally have about 5 available every year that are worth £3,000. So you can actually get your costs covered for playing sport and enjoying and being good at something whilst you're at university. So again, there's such a diverse range, from American football to ultimate frisbee, snow sports, cheerleading, lacrosse, martial arts, cycling, trampolining, dancing. There's even a Quidditch team at Bangor University. So you can imagine if we offer you a fictional sport, the list of sports that we have is going to be quite long. So again, try them out, see what you think. There's taster sessions. So if you don't know whether or not you want to do something, then give it a go. Now, I've never been very keen on heights, but I really wanted to have a go at the indoor climbing. So off I went to a session, and who knew that the only incentive that I needed to get to the top of that wall was an offer of a toffee crisp if I made it. And since I did that, you can't stop me now from going to the climbing wall all the time. So genuinely, you might find you're really good at something. And who knows, the next big thing in Quidditch could be sat there listening to us right now. Again, at Bangor, we offer free membership to all the clubs and teams that we have that are run by the Athletic Union. So there's no charge for you to actually join these teams and try it out. But on top of, again, the things that the universities actually run, think about what you can do in the surrounding area, the kind of outdoor activities you can get involved in. So you can go mountain biking, climbing, walking, head to the beach if you want to. So lots of things that are absolutely for free that might be available on your doorstep. And then usually at university, you've also got things like athletics tracks, sports pitches, sports centre, gym, climbing wall, exercise classes. You might even be able to be taught how to coach as well and get different certificates and do instructor courses and that sort of thing as well. So there's, again, a huge amount of opportunities through the sports side of things. Now, we keep Wednesdays afternoons free, so there's never any lectures or anything at Bangor University, because if you do play in the Bucks League, so this is the competitive league against all the other universities, that's when the matches are played. So you know you've got that time set aside to get involved in that. And then there's also loads of sporting events throughout the year as well you can get involved in. So the big event of the year is normally varsity, where one university plays each year against another one. So we play against Aberystwyth every year, whole range of different sports that we play against them. So that's a really great weekend of sport as well. So much going on for you. So again, this is just a really small snapshot about what's available sport-wise. If you want to use the gym or just go to the exercise classes just to keep fit, again, it is entirely up to you. So you may spot something there you're interested in, but like I said, there's so many out there, you can really find something that you try your hand at and turn out that you're really good at it. So I'm just coming to the end of my presentation now, and I just really wanted to emphasize again that you're never going to be bored. You're never going to be stuck for things to do at university, and you're never again going to get as much stuff as easily available on your doorstep. This is the aspect of university that I think I miss the most, because it's just so easy to try new things. So my advice to you is just make the most of the opportunities that you have. And like I said, who knows, you may not only have a great time getting to know people, passing the time and doing things outside of your course, it may actually give you some really key skills, qualities and achievements that will then make a massive difference to you after you've graduated and you're looking for work. So thanks for listening, and remember, any questions, I'm here to answer them at the end in the Q&A session as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Glynis. Next up, we are going to talk to Tabitha from the University of Law. Tabitha will be talking to you about your very first week at university, what you can expect from that, and giving you some top tips on how to make the most of it as well. So I'm just going to pass over to Tabitha now.
Is it working?
Yeah, that's all working, Tabitha.
Can you see me?
I can't see you, no, but we can see the screen.
Okay, should I just do that then? Because I don't think it's working.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's saying start my video. Perfect. Hello everyone, so I am Tabitha. I'm in my third year on the LLB at ULaw, and I'm currently studying at our Guildford campus, which is in the southeast of England. So first of all, I'm going to start by discussing our first week at university. So on the first day, you have a welcome talk, you have an introduction with all of your tutors, programme leads, you get to meet your personal tutors, and we do campus tours with other people in our years, so you mix with the second and third years. As you can see on the screen, we also have pizza days, which is amazing. This is all paid for by the uni, and sometimes there's an alcoholic beverage as well. On your fourth day, I had the opportunity to do a mock trial at Guildford Crown Court with a real judge. It was the resident judge Fraser, and we got to wear the gowns and the wigs, and it was just amazing. It's something nice that you get to do in your first week that not a lot of other unis get to do. And we also had an employability day with the director of employability, John Watkins. So we did some networking with some employers. We learned learning skills. It was basically an amazing day to get to know the real skills of what you need to be a good lawyer. And another thing you really get to do at ULaw is meeting your classmates. There's loads of different activities like tea days. The pizza day really helps you consolidate and meet all your new friends. And they're also planning this year, which is amazing considering COVID, to do like a massive online program. So with all of the other 7 different campuses across the UK to kind of get together online to kind of network and meet everyone, because obviously this year it's all been a bit crazy and stuff. And also other unis throughout the UK, they tend to do like boat trips, bowling, quizzes, nights out, so like clubbing and all stuff like that. And then also we do courses for learning the library resources. So when you study law, there's different kind of sites that you have to use in order to access legislation, case law, books, etc. And that's a nice thing to do in your first week so that you're kind of ready to get learning for your second week. There's also like study skills sessions, so how to read the law, kind of like revision for how to write essays, and these are all optional things that you can get involved in. So my next slide is, what do you do when you aren't in the classroom? So I would say I have quite a good social life. I get involved in everything I can. I like to get involved in club societies. So at ULaw we have netball, football, croquet, which is at the Guildford campus. We have tennis, climbing, rounders. Again, what the lady said before is, if you want to create a society, you can. It's all free at ULaw. You literally just need to apply through the student association. You can also become advocates. So we have a women's advocate who represents all of ULaw. We have an LGBTQ advocate, and you can also get involved in becoming a class rep, or you could become a course rep for like the LLB, for instance, or a vice president for one of the 7 campuses. And also one thing I really like doing is going to the pub with my friends, going for lunchtime meals. Quite often before lessons we might go have breakfast, so like 2-3 of us, and even sometimes after exams we organise to go for like a big celebratory meal out. So one thing I love about the Guildford campus is it's beautiful. It's set in the most idyllic location with over 30 acres, but you can also study at London, Leeds, Manchester, Bristol, Birmingham or Nottingham. And say you don't like it somewhere in your first few weeks, you can just change between them. So for instance, I had a friend who studied at Guildford and she felt a bit homesick, and then she had the opportunity to go to the London Bloomsbury, which she much preferred. She was nearer home. And I think that is something, not a lot of unis offer that, but if you're kind of a bit anxious or kind of get there and go, oh, I don't know, you can chop and change between the two. So I'm going to talk to you a tiny little bit about each campus that we have. So at Guildford, in Guildford, we have loads of bars. We have the bowling alley, we have cinema, we have the shopping area, which is called the Friary, which has loads of amazing shops like Five Guys. I love a Five Guys. And we have Topshop, Urban Outfitters, Primark, literally everything. But also you can go to a vibrant city like London, which just has so much going on. You could go shopping in Oxford Circus. There's so many free museums, amazing clubs, Shoreditch, Camden Town. I've been there with some of my friends that I've met through ULaw, so they go to London Bloomsbury and sometimes we might go out in Shoreditch. Another campus you could go to is Leeds. They have loads of canal mills. There's a club called Beaverbrooks there, and they have a large LGBTQ society as well there that I know a lot of people get involved in. At Manchester, there's loads of different gyms such as Armitage and Sugden Sports Centre. There's also an Olympic-sized swimming pool which is located at the Aquatic Centre. In Bristol there is the Exchange, and there's also loads of very historical buildings there. It's quite like a historical kind of site, as has been in the media recently. You have the cathedral there, and there's also a very large nightlife in Bristol. You have Birmingham again, which has loads of beautiful canals. I did a bit of research and there's a donkey sanctuary there, which I found was quite cool. And there's a fossil museum, which I thought was really cool. And we have our new campus, which is in Nottingham, which, as many of you know, is where Robin Hood is set. So it's recently become a UNESCO site, and there's loads of comedy clubs there as well. I was going to talk to you a little bit about studying, so how I study. So how I study is I have an academic diary. I make sure I have everything, so kind of I know what's going on each day. I tend to spend like 2 to 2.5 hours on each module, and I try to get everything done between Monday to Friday, so then I can have the weekend to myself. I consolidate on like A3 slides, and then I put them onto whiteboards, like I memorize them, so then it's all in there ready for all my exams. And the tutors at ULaw are just amazing. They're so helpful. They've all been previous legal professionals, so they know what they're talking about. They tend to bring in their legal experiences as well, so they may go, so for instance, in my family lecture, she was like, oh, I remember going to family court over a divorce dispute and this happened. And it's such a real kind of real life experience. It's not learning all the time. It's kind of, oh yeah, they're drawing on this experience. It's making it more practical and exactly what it's going to be when you are like a real lawyer. And the support that you have at ULaw is literally next to none. The teachers for one are just amazing. They help you with anything. And we also have a wellbeing week. So this is insane this year. We had a Pat Dog Day. So all the dogs came in and we had to pat them and you could go round, and it was just insane. And then we had like free nails, so we had our nails done, free massages. It was like a real week just orientated for students. There was like free tea and coffee throughout the whole campus. And then the counsellor lady who comes in, she is super helpful. You can talk to her about anything, and you have a couple of free sessions with her if you wish. But she's just there to kind of, if you're feeling a bit down one day, you can literally just go see her and vent everything. I've used her a couple of times, and I think it's an amazing service that ULaw offers. And then we also have our disability service. So they are really, if you have any issues, so I have dyslexia and dyspraxia. So in my first week, I went to them and I told them about it. And then I have my own plan for like extra time and stuff. So my next slide is, what is your top tip for a ULaw student? So I always keep a good work and student life balance. Like, I improve my mental health. I tend to do lots of sports as well in my spare time. But my best advice would be to attend freshers, make loads of friends, meet new people, get involved in other unis in the area as well. So at Guildford, you could go to the University of Surrey and you can get involved in their sports teams as well. Like, they are really sporty there. And at other campuses as well, you can do that. Make use of the employability, book appointments, get in early and show that you're a really proactive student. And that's my presentation. Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much, Tabitha. Next up, we have our last panelist, and this is going to be Bianca. Bianca's from the University of East London, and she's going to be talking to you about what it's going to be like studying at university. So talking about classes, lectures, seminars, and if we might be able to see a little bit more online learning this year as well. So I'm just going to pass you over to Bianca now.
Hi everyone, my name is Bianca. Let me just share my screen with you. All right, can everyone see the presentation?
Yeah, that's working perfectly.
Okay. All right, so I'm sure everyone is very anxious to know what September is going to look like considering everything going on. So I'll be going over that today. Again, my name is Bianca and I'm a current student at the University of East London. So a bit of what to expect. Obviously, we're focusing on safety first. So we're trying to create a secure campus that's safe for everyone with hand sanitizing stations around everywhere, and also checking temperatures of students when they go in to make sure that everyone is as safe as possible while returning to campus. So with that said, we are focusing on a dual delivery module and remote timetabling. So this basically is a way kind of to make it the best of both worlds, where students will be able to watch lectures and seminars online that are live streamed or recorded, but also have options for students to go on campus based on a timetable. So how we're doing it is basically each student will have a timetable that says when they can go on campus and then what versions will be online, just so everyone has a chance to be able to have that face-to-face interaction, but also be safe if you have any health issues and things like that. So I'm just gonna play a quick safety video that we have.
As we return to our campuses, we will ensure they are COVID secure for everyone: students, staff, contractors, and visitors. In doing this, we will be guided by 5 key principles: test, sanitize, protect, distance, and track. Here's what this will mean for you on a daily basis once you have been invited to return to campus. Just follow these 6 straightforward steps. 1. Provide a daily well-being update. We'll tell you if you're cleared to visit campus. 2. Go to the designated campus check-in point to get your temperature taken. 3. Wear your UEL ID card and a face covering at all times, indoors and outdoors. 4. Maintain social distancing and follow all signage and floor markings. Hold all meetings remotely rather than in person. 5. Disinfect your workspace and practice good hand hygiene. And 6. Leave campus immediately if you start to experience any COVID-19 symptoms. We look forward to seeing you back on campus soon.
All right, so that's kind of a bit of what safety will look like on campus. So again, we are focusing on dual delivery and central learning. So why we're offering dual delivery, basically we just want students to have more control over their student life experience with a more personalized approach on how students want to study. So if you want to be on the go, or listen from home, you can do that. But we also want the option for students to be able to go on campus safely and have that face-to-face interaction that I know lots of students really want to have. So we're just doing the best we can to make sure that everyone is safe, but still connected to everyone. So while social distancing measures are still in place, we want to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to share, listen, talk to their friends and staff through dual delivery. So while some students might not be able to travel straight away, we do want to give the option of beginning studies online, live straight away, starting in September, but also have reassurance that they can join in person at a later date once it's safe for a student to do so. And by offering dual delivery, we can ensure that studies won't be interrupted and that everyone has a safe way of flipping and flexing between on-campus and live online study as well to support everyone's work, study, life. So how our central learning will work is that learning sessions will run on campus at the same time as a live streaming lecture would be going on campus. So this allows students to interact as if they were there in person. You can move smoothly between online and a campus, live campus teaching based on an individual timetable and health requirements. So like I said, students can be able to go on campus when their timetable allows them to do so, or they can also choose to do it from their home if that's what feels safest. But you can interact and collaborate in person and online during any of these live stream sessions. Labs, rehearsals, practical sessions that are on campus would be scheduled in blocks with online sessions as well. Again, they'll be live streamed and also recorded, so you can log in whenever you want, play back and watch from your home, or if you're on the go. This also is something important to know with our international students. So it will be recorded in case, let's say, time zones might be an issue that will hopefully students will have access to recordings and things like that. Additionally, academic and personal tutor support will be available both online and on campus in bookable slots. So this includes student support groups, drop-in sessions, online social events, progress check-ins, and well-beings. And online sessions would be moderated so that you can still work with students even if you're not in the same room. So kind of how that worked for me, I'm a current student. We've still had seminar sessions online where we'll go on to smaller groups and collaborate with students and then just join the main lecture and kind of talk about it as a bigger group again. So the UEL is investing in key areas in study, including career services, library and well-being services that will be both face-to-face on campus and online, with many of these being available 24/7. So the main thing to note is that students will still have access to lecturers, seminars, things like that. You can still go speak to your lecturer on campus in person, because I know sometimes it's easier to speak in person, but you would just book it ahead of time so that we're making sure we're limiting the amount of students on campus and still be able to social distance, but still give students the options to have that face-to-face interaction. So personally, my experience with all of this, I'm in my final year, so the last half of the year has kind of been online for me, but I found it really flexible. Obviously, I can watch all my lectures from home and feel very safe and comfortable. And I know my little brother also goes to UEL, and he actually went back to America, and he can still study from there as well, which is really nice. And everything's pre-recorded, and that's been really useful for me specifically because then I can rewatch lectures. If I missed any notes, if I need to take, if I need to rewatch and understand something, I can do so as many times as I want, which is really, really useful. Also, something that's quite useful about it is that you can ask questions very comfortably. I don't know about anyone else, but personally for me, sometimes I can get nervous asking questions in front of people, um, and if because of the chat function on the lectures, that you can just type in your questions, your answers, and I found that there's actually a lot more students engaged. I know a lot of people have been in a situation where the lecturer asks a question and everyone just kind of stays silent because they're afraid of saying the wrong thing. We found that the chat function actually helps and that students are all responding that way. And that's also kind of a way the university can monitor that everyone's participating, which is really nice as well. And also if you need to ask questions to anyone on the side, like any of your friends in the class, if you have questions, you can do so through the chat function without disrupting a lecture, which is really nice. So some of the benefits of this is it's kind of the best of both worlds approach that puts students in control of their student life. So we do want students to be safe, but we also understand that being face-to-face with your lecturers is very important. It's a way to learn, and we still want students to have access to libraries and labs, you know, especially if you're a creative person studying in a creative field, you want to be able to go on campus, use the resources and facilities. We just want to make sure it's safe for everyone. So we're really just putting in the measures that can keep everyone safe and just blocking out specific times when students can go on campus versus when you're just studying from home online. So yeah, it will be personalized to each person. It can look different for anyone. If you have specific health issues that you need to stay home and just do online, you can do so, but also you'll still have the option to go on campus. So as far as making friends, we're striving to make our events safe on campus, but also do online versions as well. For anyone who doesn't feel safe to go on campus, we're going to have options for both of that. Another benefit is you can connect and engage wherever you are and enjoy more tutor time because it is easier to get a hold of tutors online, and also providing career and well-being support both online and face-to-face, and offering technical support as well as scholarships to help anyone who might need, let's say, a laptop or things like that. But yeah, that's pretty much the rest of my presentation. If anyone has any specific questions, you can always send us an email as well.
Thank you very much, Bianca. We're now going to do some questions. So thank you very much to everyone who's submitted a question either on Zoom or on YouTube. And if you do still have a question, feel free to drop that in either of the chat boxes, and our panelists will be working through those and we'll be answering them live now for you as well. So we're going to start with a question for Joseph from Teesside. What is moving in day like, and will there be any guides or investors to help us when we're moving into our accommodation?
Hi. So as for moving in day, there are more than likely there will be representatives from the university to show you where you might want to go, best places for parking, things like that, directions around the university and to the accommodation on campus. If people have already moved in, there's a very good chance there's hopefully some helping hands within the household you're moving into to help you unpack. And sorry, what was the second question, Megan? Unfortunately, I've already forgotten what you'd said.
That was okay. It was just about whether there would be people around to help you. So you answered that perfectly.
Fantastic. That's good to hear. Okay.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Next up, we have a question for Klinos from Bangor University. Are you planning to have a physical Freshers' Fair this year, or are you looking more at doing something online to help students be aware of all the different opportunities available to them?
It's a really good question. So obviously it's difficult to answer at the moment because, especially with us being in Wales as well, we have different guidelines to other countries in terms of the Welsh Government are in charge. We have about 3 different plans in place at the moment. So we will decide what we do based on the guidelines and the government things leading up to that time. But certainly we're not going to not do anything on Freshers Week. I think that's the really important message to get across. And I've answered a few questions in the chat already. We think it's a really integral part of the student experience. So we are going to make sure that we can offer all our freshers some form of a Freshers Week, whether that's physical or virtual or blended approach to both of them. We don't know yet, but we'll definitely be offering something.
Thanks very much. Next up, we have a question for Tabitha from the University of Law. If I'm going into my first week of university, what are the main mistakes or things you wish you'd done better in your first week at uni?
One thing I'd say is definitely, I think I got there and hadn't really planned for how much stuff I'd need on the first day. So, and like in general, kind of making sure that I get all my folders ready and like paper and pens and stuff. Because I think when you arrive there, you're kind of like, oh yeah, like it's all fun and everything. And then you kind of get there and you get all your kind of books and you get like your student guides and stuff, but you haven't got anywhere to put it. Like, I wish I'd gone shopping beforehand and got all my folders and stuff ready for the first week. So that would be my best advice.
Thank you very much, Tabitha. Next up, we have a question for Bianca from the University of East London. And thank you very much for your video, Bianca. I know a lot of students found that really useful. How do you expect 2021 entry or university to be impacted by COVID-19?
Yeah, I mean, I know it is a very stressful time for everyone, and everyone still wants to have, as good of a university experience as they can. So yeah, unfortunately, some things will have to be online, but there are benefits of it being online as well, like I was mentioning in my presentation. And also we are still having some scheduled campus times for students, because that is, I know, an important part of the university experience, being face-to-face, just making sure it's safer and that everyone is healthy on campus, and making sure we're taking the best safety precautions.
Thank you very much, Bianca. Next up, we have another question for Joseph. Are you allowed to bring a pet to university, Joseph?
Now, this is a very tricky question to answer. If you were going into university accommodation, there's a very, very good chance that the contract that you sign to stay in your accommodation will say no pets. Now, this doesn't prohibit you from taking electronic or wind-up pets. In my first year of university, I had some robot jellyfish floating around a little tank, and the university were fine with that. But for actual pets, the answer is probably no. If you'd like to take pets, then I would recommend taking out a housing contract with landlords around the area. There will be some housing companies and agencies that the university can recommend to you. And with them, you can approach asking about taking pets or signing a contract with a house that will allow pets within. But the chances are on a campus accommodation itself, you probably aren't allowed pets, I expect.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Next up, we have a question for Klinos from Bangor University. Are you expecting sports clubs and nightlife to change this year, or are you expecting it to proceed with kind of just distancing measures in place?
Again, it's a little bit like the first question in terms of the Freshers Week. We really don't know at the moment. We are certainly, again, like Freshers Week, still planning on running different things. And it's whether or not the guidelines are going to allow us to do the physical events. What we're doing at Bangor University is we've got really comprehensive web pages where we're updating all the time. So as soon as we know and as soon as plans have been put in place, not just for the lectures, but for the sports teams and the societies and all that kind of stuff, we're putting the information on there. So we think that communicating with our students is really important. Obviously, the start of the year is the one that's most in question, when we normally have these taster sessions and these different things you can do with the sports teams and societies. It may be that we have to do them a little bit later. We're obviously hoping that later in the year it's going to return to normal, but it's really kind of out of our control at the moment. But like I said, we think it's an important part of the experience. So we're certainly not going to go, well, there's nothing, you're just going to have to deal with it. We're just going to find ways and plan around the restrictions that will be in place.
That's perfect, thank you very much. Next up, we have a question for Tabitha from the University of Law. So if I really want to live on campus and I love the sound of all of the things that you talked about in your presentation, how long can I live on campus for? Can I only stay there for the first year and then I have to move out, or can I stay for my whole time?
So at ULaw, we don't actually have accommodation on site. It's kind of like a privately sourced thing. So you source it yourself. There's loads of groups on Facebook and stuff. So there's, and we also have at Guildford, I know we have a building which is primarily for students. It's called Scape, it's like a really fancy multicolored building, but we don't, unfortunately, which is really sad, we don't have accommodation. But like half of my class live at uni anyway, so they live in like private rented houses, and it's primarily just students. And mainly some people may say, oh, I just want to rent the house out just for ULaw students. So some of my friends in the first year were even with people in their class. So because we tend to have smaller cohorts and less people, you're kind of intermixing with more people, so you're more likely to be with them. So yeah, that's the answer to that question.
Thank you very much, Tabitha. Next up, we have a question for Bianca from the University of East London. Do you have any careers mentoring schemes or careers support in place at UEL?
Yes, so we do have so we do have something called the Center for Student Success, and basically what they're in charge of is helping students find placements and internships and work opportunities related to their course while they're studying. And again, we've also had a shift in that and have had online services with them as well. And they also help with career coaching, mentoring, helping students practice interview questions and helping with CVs. So that is all available to our students as well.
Thank you very much, Bianca. Next up, we have a question for Joseph from Teesside. Do you have any advice about how to keep a shared uni house clean? And will we be expected to do extra cleaning, or will we have extra like cleaning staff around if we move to uni this year?
That will definitely depend on your student accommodation in your first, second and third year and where you choose to live. I know in my first year of university, moving in, we had cleaners come once a week to help with the bins and the floors, etc. But the kitchen, moving your own things, your own private space, such as your bedroom and of course the bathroom, you will need to keep clean yourself, I expect. But again, it does depend on your accommodation. A good tip for divvying up the work between everyone who lives in the household, one thing that worked for us at least, was saying X person does the bathrooms, Y person does the kitchen, Z person does the stairs, the landing and the hoovering, W goes and does the living room. And that way you know that each area, you can decide how it is divvied up that would be fair for everybody. And then if one area doesn't look as good or as you would like it, you can approach this person and say, hey, this place isn't looking as great. Can we fix that? And maybe you might want to give them a hand, or maybe they're falling behind because they feel they have an uneven amount of work to do. maybe it's a bit unfair on them, and then you can approach this topic again and again until you get it right. But yeah, it's definitely diplomacy needs to be deployed when it comes to cleaning, because nobody likes cleaning, I'm afraid.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Next up, we have a question for Klinos from Bangor University. So as we saw on your presentation, there's so many different clubs and societies that Bangor has available. Is there anywhere that I can see really easily what clubs and societies a university has, and then I can make a decision about where I want to go?
Yeah, so again, with our university, all you need to do is head to our Student Union web pages, and then you've got a page with all the societies and clubs, a page with volunteering, and a page with all the sports there as well. So if you want to give yourself a bit of a heads up, it's a pretty comprehensive list. It may be that others pop up when it actually comes around to the start of term. So like I said, if somebody started something new, but if you just want to give yourself an idea, it's normally the Student Union pages where you can see all the stuff available. And also we have a SAB officers specifically for club societies and volunteering, and another one for sport. So if you just want to pop them an email as well, if they can't see something you're interested in and you want to find out more, send them an email in advance and they'll let you know about that too.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have a question for Tabitha from the University of Law. So do universities provide counselling and student support on site, or is that something I'd have to go elsewhere for?
So we actually have a counsellor who is on site at each campus, and you can just go and find her. Ideally, I'd probably say send her an email first. I know she has a private email that I'd have to look on my emails, that you just kind of email her and then you can book an appointment with her. Or I think she has an office as well, so you can go and see her, but she goes across other campuses as well.
Next up, we have a question for Bianca from the University of East London. How can you apply for scholarships if you're looking to get a little bit of support and you're doing quite well academically? Is there a way you can apply for them before you start uni?
Yeah, so I'm sure it's the same with a lot of universities, but if you go on the website and just look up the scholarships, you'll be able to see what scholarships you're eligible for, as well as bursaries. We have hardship bursaries, scholarships for sport, scholarships for doing community service. And it's always worth looking at that because it is free money towards tuition. So definitely check out universities' websites and looking at their scholarship page. Additionally, I know you can email admissions and they'll be able to send scholarships that apply to you as well.
Thank you very much, Bianca. We're going to do one more question each today. So if you do have any more questions, please keep them coming and we'll pick the best four for the rest of our panelists. I'm going to start with one for Joseph from Teesside. Will we need to pay for things like Sky Sports within our own household? Or if I'm looking to watch the football or the rugby or something with my friends, are there places on university campus that I can go and we can watch them without having to pay the big bill for the sports channels?
Yeah, of course. Now, accessing a TV license from home, you will probably get an email, a letter from the government saying how you can access a TV license and how you can apply for it. However, that being said, a lot of universities have phenomenal student union facilities on campus. I know Teesside has a student union facility where I think 3 times a week, maybe 4 times a week, you can go in and on a huge screen and a projector, they show the rugby, the football, the cricket and everything else. So if your university has a students' union, which is within access, and I'm certain it probably does, you can just wander over there in an evening, sit down with some friends, and I'm sure they can pop the rugby or the football on for you to access.
That's great. Thank you very much, Joseph. Now we have another question for Klinos from Bangor University. Will students need to start studying at home if they're looking to go to university this September, or are you looking to make it so that everyone can move onto campus when they start?
So obviously I can't answer on behalf of everybody else because we've all got different policies. So I know that Cambridge came out a while back and they said we're doing everything online. At Bangor, we've announced that we're opening the campus. So from our point of view, everybody's coming on campus in September. We have 3 different plans in place depending upon the guidelines of the Welsh Government and social distancing. What we're hoping is that we'll be able to do a blended model where it's a mixture of physical teaching as well as online teaching. But also anything that we do teach will always be available online as well. So if anybody, for example, is self-isolating, that they wouldn't miss out on anything. So we're going to have to decide nearer the time, but our plan is still that we are opening on campus. We're having people move into the halls of residence, and it's just the model that we're going to use that's going to be decided nearer September opening start date. So again, it's going to depend on your university, but just make sure you're getting definite and clear communications from them, definitely in the lead up to September. And if you feel you're not getting enough, contact them and ask them what the situation is so that you're clear on what's expected from you.
That's great. Thank you very much for all your advice, Klinos. Next up, we're going to have a question for Tabitha from the University of Law. Would you recommend bringing a car or a bike to uni, or is this something that you can survive without?
So I live about 20 minutes from uni, and I drive every day. I have a parking permit, and at our Guildford campus we have a free car park, and it's about 200 to 300 spaces. I know at other unis they have similar kind of things, but obviously if you're like in London, I definitely recommend like using the public transport. They have like the excellent tube service, buses. I mean, if you do want to bring a bike as well, I know most campuses have like a bike parking station as well. I would definitely recommend bringing a lock though, just in case. But I think having a bike is a really good idea. It's good exercise. I have a friend who cycles from Guildford to the Guildford campus, which is about a 5 to 10 minute walk. So I imagine it'd be quite quick on a bike. But yeah, I think that's an amazing idea. Just obviously utilizing the kind of transport in the area is a really good thing because they do student prices as well. So I think you can either have like a student travel card or just in general, they have student prices. But I think having a bike is an amazing idea. That's my thing.
Thank you very much, Tabitha. Now for our last question of today, and this is one for Bianca at UEL. How do you expect lab work to change this year? So we've had a look at lectures and things like that, but for something that's more hands-on, so if you're in computing or if you're in a science, do you expect certain changes to be taking place in labs so that everyone can work there?
Yes, so when it comes to certain subjects like lab works, I know sciences, that does have to be done in person. So everything will just be set up in a way where we're limiting the amount of people that can be in the lab spaces. So you just have to book a slot when you can go on campus, or your timetable will say the times that are available for you to go on campus, just to make sure that everyone is social distancing and that everything has a chance to be cleaned before the next student comes and uses it.
That's perfect. Thank you very much, Bianca. That was our last question for today. Our apologies if we weren't able to answer all of your questions today. If you do have another question, either just a general one or for any of our panelists, then definitely head over to their websites. I'm sure you'll find lots of advice on there, and you can also find their contact details so you can send their student recruitment team over an email so you're a bit more clear about how they're looking at approaching 2020-2021 admissions. Next week is our last webinar Wednesday for a little while. We are going to be back in August. So if you'd like an update on our upcoming webinars, if you head over to our website, that's www.ukuniversitysearch.com and click on the orange Register for Updates button, which is on the top right-hand side of the website. You'll get emails every week about what webinars we have coming up, and we'll also send you lots of resources like blog articles and things like that, so that you can make sure you're getting supported by lots of different universities whilst you're at home. If you are interested in our webinar next week, it's really good if you're looking at studying art and design. You will have to prepare a portfolio alongside all of your other admissions things. This portfolio will be a chance for you to showcase your talent and help to secure your place on an art and design course. We're going to be working with the University for the Creative Arts, and they're going to be giving you a very special big webinar full of lots of tips about how to do your portfolio, how to make sure it's perfect. So you definitely don't want to miss out on that one. You can head to our website to sign up for that one. That's www.ukuniversitysearch.com. Click on the purple webinars button and then just click sign up now under the art and design one. Or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. So every single one of our webinars is available on our YouTube. So if you've missed one, or if you want to catch up, just head over there to the UK University Search YouTube, and all of our future ones will be live streamed on there as well, so you can catch up really easily without needing to sign up for everyone. So that is the Art and Design webinar next week. We hope you'll be able to join us in August for our special results day series. So make sure to sign up for our emails if you're interested in that. Okay, I'm sure you'd like to join me in saying a massive thank you to all of our panelists today. We talked to Joseph from Teesside University, Klinos from Bangor University, Tabitha from the University of Law, and Bianca from the University of East London. They all gave us lots of advice about what it's going to be like to be a student over the next couple of years and how they're preparing to welcome you this September. So thank you very much to all of them, and thank you to you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed it, and make sure to check out our other webinars on our YouTube.